we have the GMC out here. It has been forever that this truck has, well, done anything. And some new tires. Tires just came in. They're Sumitomos. They're, what are they? Sumitomo Encounter All-Terrains. They were very inexpensive. We put them on the old Ford back there. And yeah, the GMC Sierra 2500 HD two-wheel drive, long bed regular cab truck, '01 model. Rattled all that off, but that's back because the front's pretty low. Like to see just a hair lower, but the back is yeah, she's kind of high. So the plan is to finally finish the back of this thing because I really need to use it. All these cars and racing and etc. I need a tow vehicle. The old half-ton Chevy, I'm trying to get rid of that, and that wasn't that great anyway. So this should be better. But anyway, the reason this video is, the reason I'm filming this, the Subaru. Hard to believe, but yeah, it has been 6 months since I bought the Subaru WRX of the VB. This is a 24 model, but I got it in March, and it was brand new leftover. In fact, you couldn't get 25s, at least around here, in March. So had this thing for 6 months, and I figured it's time. Might as well do a kind of recap video of what I've done and how it's been over the last 6 months. Well, first thing I'll do is just talk a little bit about the car itself, a quick rehash. I've done a few videos. I'm trying to remember. I did an intro video just talking about the car. We did new wheels and tire. Well, new wheels, exhaust. I think that might be it as far as just going through a few things on the car here. But like I said, it's a 2024 VB Subaru WRX. This is the base model, which unfortunately they do not offer anymore, which in my opinion is a shame because this was by far the best deal you could get, in my opinion. Yep, obviously it's the red, whatever the code is, but red color. Very few options. I think this was literally rubber floor mats and little, fender mud flap thingies that were down here front and back that unfortunately I had to remove when I put these different mud flaps on. But anyway, so I thought it was a really good deal. 24 does get you the, which all new cars have, but 24 was kind of a cool year because even the base model came with the full screen. And yeah, otherwise it's pretty much the basic stuff inside and out. But yeah, I think even the basic package is pretty good when it comes to these WRXs. And they go up huge in price. I mean, the higher end models can be almost, well, yeah, 50% more than what this thing costs. And it's all based on the same car, just small changes. So exact same drivetrain in all the models. So anyway, what I've done to the car, well, I should probably just go back and say why I bought this car. I was looking for a daily driver, a new car, something that preferably had a manual, and also something that was, well, fun. And I don't know if I said that. I'm already forgetting what I'm saying, but and it needed to be kind of like all weather, so all-wheel drive. Or I don't even think I was looking in front. Basically, it was just all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, only options. So looked at some trucks and like sporty trucks I could do like a full drive, but lower them. And I don't know, looked at a variety of things, but honestly, it came down to this. And then maybe the GR Corolla, but that was significant. Well, it was a lot more money than this was, at least the ones I was shopping. So if you could even find one. So yeah, after kind of thinking over the winter, decided to get this in the spring. Got it local in Colorado, and been pretty happy with it ever since. Exterior wise, the biggest thing I did was these wheels. I put the Sparco Terras, and of course it is getting kind of dark out here. It's been rainy on and off all day, but still should come pretty good in the video. These 17-inch black Sparco Terra Off-Road. I don't know what the whole title is. But they still have the stock OE tires, the 235, 45, 17 Dunlops. And this is only a 17-inch wheel, 7.5-inch wide, where the stockers were 8. And I think a 235 looks way better on a 7.5. It's kind of too narrow on an 8-inch. An 8-inch you should have, in my opinion, 245. But anyway, able to reuse the stock tires because I had literally like 1,500, 2,000 miles or whatever on them when I swapped them out. But also, I did the OEM style mud flaps, front and rear. And, you know, it gives it a cool look, more of the rally off-roady style look. I don't know if you really want to do that on a more street look, but hey, whatever. But it's also functional, especially with the roads and weather and everything we get here in Colorado. So yeah, I think overall it's a good look. And then the one other thing I've done so far, you can certainly see it back here, has got the aftermarket nameless performance, basically just axle back. And shot a video on that. Didn't seem crazy loud. This does have the 5-inch mufflers, and it actually is a little bit louder now. Probably see in the video that that side is higher than that side. So unfortunately it has kind of adjusted, settled a little bit. This one came down, and obviously that either probably stayed the original height, or I'm not sure. I have to look at the old video, but I need to look at that and see if I can fix that. That is a little annoying that they're not even anymore. They were when I put them on. But it sounds good. It is somewhat loud. But I can't imagine if you went with the open design. There's no drone though, so that's been very nice. But that's really the only modifications I've done. The wheels by far were the biggest change for looks, and the exhaust was definitely a change for driving dynamics. But technically, in many ways, this is still a stock car. I have more things I want to do this year. Not a lot. Definitely needs to be tinted. There's a lot of greenhouse or whatever you want to call it in these cars. So I want to tint the windows, badges in the back here. Probably take those off. Definitely these. Kind of be cool if that was black, but I don't know. I'll probably just take them all off. And I've thought about on the front, the 25s have a slightly different grille. I know a lot of people put like the sport grills and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not against the stock grill. It's just, it's gray. And like the car everywhere else is either black with the plastic trim or red. I don't think there's any gray anywhere else on the car. The original wheels were gray, but those are gone. I wasn't a big fan of those. But anyway, so I thought about maybe getting a 25 grill because they're the same grill, I think, but they're black, and they have a little WRX, I think, like down here somewhere. Thought that looked kind of cool, so we'll see. I might do that. But so what am I thinking here? What else? Tint, maybe a front grill, front fog lights. I think I'm going to do the OEM style fog lights because I kind of miss having fog lights in the car. And really, this should have them, so the base model didn't come with them. So you can get the OEM ones that basically just replace this plastic piece here, and they should wire right in. Should be super easy and have OEM style. So probably do that. And then the final thing, yeah, I want to do the wing back here. I'm not a huge wing on a car person. In fact, my Cobalt over there currently has, well, it has a low wing on it, but originally had the big wing. I actually swapped out for no wing for a while, but there were the holes. So anyway, it's got the low wing currently. So but the thing I look at with this car is I'm not a huge, and I've said it in other videos, I'm not a huge sedan person, which is kind of weird to say when you buy a new car, it's a sedan. But I think as I stand kind of about middle here of the car, that try to point looking through the camera, but back here I think visually the wing gives it a cool look. A lot of people complain about the rear bumper and all the plastic, the fender flares being plastic and just the plastic all around. But honestly, if you're going with more of the rally off-road style look, I think it works really well. It's not the best if you're kind of going from that street sport look, but that wasn't my intention with this car. So anyway, obviously in the front, there's quite a bit of black plastic as well. But like I said, it doesn't bother me. I'm not going to put a lip on it. A lot of people put a lip, but that would get ripped off immediately with some of the driving out here in the mountains and the dips and all that kind of stuff. And then the other thing a lot of people do is lowering. Not doing that either, because especially with the off-road style look, I think it's pretty good stock, especially with the 17s, a little more meat in the tire. I don't know. It's relatively low. I'm not saying like any kind of low tuck effect. If you come down, you can see there's plenty of fender gap on the top side, but honestly, I think it looks fine, especially with more of the rally style. So adding the wing in the back to the windows, maybe a front grille, that might be the extent of exterior mods. Interior, probably almost nothing. Next, I mean, there are more things I want to do. The big thing would be a tune and an intake and stuff like that. I have a K&N filter currently. But honestly, that would come next year. I want to get at least a year out of this. Get a year ownership, so next spring maybe that'll be that tuning will be an update. So 6 months in, about 5,000 miles, and initial impressions with the WRX. Exterior wise, like I said, I think it's a good looking car. The plastic and everything doesn't bother me. The wheel change was big. I wasn't a fan of stock wheels. I think aftermarket wheels give a good look. Stock exhaust is pretty quiet. It's kind of loud when you fire it up, but then it drops down. So switching to the aftermarket axle back 5-inch muffler, nameless performance exhaust, I definitely like that as well. But otherwise, this is a mostly stock car. So as far as trying to give a review on this machine here, it's going to be mostly of the stock driving dynamics and kind of what a stock vehicle gives you, because I haven't done anything crazy that'll, really affect what the car does so far. Heck, even stock tires. So, I guess things I like, dislike, driving impressions, etc. It's a quick car. I'm up here at elevation, and power I think is pretty good. I think the tune will really wake it up even more, but that'll be next year. Seems to handle pretty well. It's not amazing. It's not a sports car or anything, but it's for a sedan, it handles pretty good. Obviously different tires, lowering it, sway bars, there's lots of things you could do to improve that, but then you lose ride quality for sure, because this handles pretty good and has good ride quality. It is stiff, but it's not bad. What else? Driving dynamics, I think switching to the exhaust makes it more fun, because you really couldn't hear the exhaust that well originally, so I'd recommend exhaust for anybody. And if you go with like the axle back with a muffler, it's louder but not bad. What else? Talked about looks and everything. I've had no issues, but then again, 6 months you really shouldn't have issues, so I can't complain about any reliability or anything like that. That's all been good so far. What else? I think I love the color red, so happy I went with that color, but that's just a personal preference thing. Headlights, I'm just thinking of exterior stuff initially. Without having driving lights, I gotta say the headlights are just kind of okay. They have the typical modern headlight where it's just one brightness, and then when you go to high beam, it just exposes more up higher. I don't know, whatever that's called. They're okay. They're good. They're not great. It would be nice to have a driving light, fog light, whatever, to complement that, so that'll be an improvement. But otherwise, yeah, I think exterior-wise or anything around the car that I'm just looking at, the taillights are kind of cool. They have a bit of a, I don't know what you call that, but I've seen from the outside once or twice. They seem to, they look cool, but otherwise, whatever, taillights. Interior, I don't really have any major complaints about the interior per se. Obviously, going with the base model, you don't have a lot of the fancy features, but As I briefly mentioned, the 24 does give you a couple extra cool things because you do get the full screen when you go with the base model 24. Seats are good. They're not terribly aggressive, but I kind of prefer that because I have really wide shoulders and I do not fit in any performance seat that comes in any kind of car. I've had issues with 1LE Camaro. What else? I have race seats in, believe it or not, a Cobalt. They're Recaros. They're way too narrow. So having also a milder seat works well for me. But yeah, even in the back, a gray, multi-gray seat with the red stitching. I think it looks good. Kind of funny. When I bought my Vet, I have a C7 Grand Sport. It came with white stitching, and if you wanted red stitching, you had to get a different package, which cost about $5,000 or $6,000 more with all the junk they threw in there. So it was like, red stitching? Yeah, I'd like red stitching. Not for $5,000 though. But anyway, heck, it might have been more than $5,000. But so yeah, interior-wise, overall it's nice. The touch points, steering wheel, shifter, everything's pretty good. Really can't complain. Shifter is something, you know, it's okay, or it's good, but it's not great. They do have a lot of different options for shifters. That may be something I look at eventually, but haven't quite confirmed or really decided if I want to quite go there yet, especially because it's so new. But hey, if it's better, maybe I should. But anyway, interior, exterior, kind of what you get. I think overall it's pretty good. The common complaints with this car are the looks. That's a personal thing. I'm not going to go there. I don't mind it, but when you fire the car up, I assume this is all Subarus, but maybe it's a WRX thing. It has a high idle for like 2 minutes, and I have no idea why. That's kind of annoying. The stock exhaust was even kind of loud with the high idle, and it's even louder obviously with this, but then it drops off. I have no idea what does that, why it does that. I've heard you can tune that out, so I might look into that. The touchscreen gets some complaints. Yeah, it's nothing special. I actually just prefer old school stuff, knobs and buttons and things like that, and cars don't do that anymore because screens are cheaper. But it's a little laggy, but I don't know, how often do you really use it? Once you have it set up and once you kind of have it how you want it, I don't know, it's not that big of a deal. But I think probably the single biggest complaint I have in the car is the eyesight system and all the stupid nanny features. I think it's pretty bad. Just about every time I drive, I will get collision warning things popping up on the dash. It doesn't seem to understand parallel parked cars. If you're on a windier road and you have a center median, like a wall type thing, and there's a gap in it, that'll go off. It's super sensitive to vehicles around you. I don't know, maybe it's how I drive or this version of the car, or I don't know. I played with the settings and it just, I don't like it. And the other thing is too, is you can turn pretty much everything off. But the problem is, 90% of it turns back on the next time we turn the car on. Not the lane shift thing, which is nice. That does stay off. But everything you can turn off lights up the dash. So I think that's dumb. I think maybe if there was like a sport option, like you hit one button and you go in like sport mode and like everything turns off, that would be my preference. But, well, this car in particular doesn't have. But I've heard lots of cars, high-end cars, luxury cars, high-end sports cars, everything. They all nowadays come with this stuff, and it's hard to turn off. A lot of you have to turn off every time. So it's not an isolated complaint, other than I will say the eyesight thing is pretty awful. It seems to go off for the dumbest things. But maybe that's just me, but that's what I found. So anyway, blabbering on for a while here as it gets dark once again with the Subaru WRX. But realistically, I would say I'm happy. I don't want to end on a negative note complaining about it, because overall I really like the car. Kind of interested to see what a tune does. Everybody's I've read says it really wakes up these things, so that'll be here eventually. But I've really enjoyed it. If you're in the market for a sporty manual all-wheel drive car, or I just say sporty manual vehicle with all-wheel drive, very few options. In fact, two, at least in America. I mean, you got this and the GR Corolla, and well, unfortunately, these have gotten a lot more expensive with the pricing, but at one point, this was about 50% or a third, or what's the math say? A third less, whatever, 15 grand less than GR Corolla. I don't think that's the case anymore, which is kind of a bummer, but there's still values out there. But yeah, I would say if you're interested in a sporty all-wheel drive car, these things, in my opinion, are great. Some tech things aren't the best, and the looks can be polarizing for people, although I do like it, especially with, like I've said about a million times now, the rally look really works well. And heck, it's a WRX. I mean, that's what they still, heritage-wise, base these things off of. So, yeah, there's still more to come. I think the wing is going to be something I want to do this year, so probably see that install coming up. Tinting, I mean, there's not really much to do for that, but we'll get it tinted too. And then the fog lights. I might do a video on that because I don't really know exactly what's going to be involved. If anybody does have a base model, I don't know. We'll find out. Should be relatively easy, but who knows? So I think at this point, that's enough blabbering on. Just about a 6-month review. I'd say overall 6 months, 5,000 miles. It's been good. No issues. Happy with the car. A couple little minor things, but that's going to be the case with anything, especially in this price range. So yeah, more to come. Actually, more to come on a variety of this stuff, but for sure more to come on this car. So at this point, yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.